TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers.
You're now listening to Tough Tiger Talk with Big Q and the guys on the Pro Media Network.
What's going on, fam? Welcome to another installment of Tough Tiger Talk. We coming at you on Tough Tiger Talk Tuesday. We're in the building. LSU football news, man. We got it going, man. We're gonna cover it in this live stream today, man. Tough Tiger Talk. Arch Manning drops in at LSU for a visit. You can see a very surprised Coach O right there. A lot of people saying Arch is a long shot. This is 2023, of course, but a lot of things can change. Do you believe in the power of Coach O, baby, to make that happen? So I'm Big Q chiming on this installment of Tough Tiger Talk. Welcome aboard. If you're not a subscriber, please to join the Tough Tiger Talk Nation by subscribing, hitting that like button, and also feel free to share the show links on your social media. So without further ado, we'll get our contributors in on this one. We got GM Kev and Uncle Mozzy. How y'all fellas doing tonight?
Well, I'm good.
On this installment of Tough Tiger Talk, fams, that's the top story right now is Arch Manning drops in for a visit with LSU on this one. And we were talking, just a moment ago off show about the how real of an option this is for LSU. Is Arch Manning really an option? And I want to say yes. Now, of course, this doesn't happen until 2023. It's still a lot of time to recruit him. He's the nation's #1 quarterback prospect. And of course, if you get into the article by Go 24/7, Newman, New Orleans quarterback Arch Manning made his unofficial visit to Baton Rouge on Tuesday, as reported by Fox 8. Manning was joined on visit by a pair of high school teammates and current LSU commitments in 21 prospects, Bo Borderland and A.J. Johnson. Manning has made a waiver visit to begin the month of June, beginning with a multi-day stay at Clemson for the team's summer camp. He also made an unofficial visit to Texas and SMU this past weekend, and he's set to visit Alabama this weekend before a trip to Georgia at the end of the month. Now, Manning is ranked by the 24/7 Sports Composite as the #1 overall quarterback in the country and the #3 overall prospect in the 2023 class, which pegs him as a 5-star prospect entering his junior season this fall. So Arch making his rounds in this one. Let's get into this debate. We're going to start with Uncle Mozzy, who's going to drop game about this. Uncle Mozzy, what do you think about this? Of course, he making his rounds. 2023 class #1 prospect. This would be a big get for our Tigers. What do you think about Arch Manning and his opportunity, or perhaps us landing him at LSU?
Well, this is possibly the biggest onion I've ever seen because it's got so many layers to it. So let's start unpeeling the layers. First off, I think that he's visiting a number of different schools. Like we saw SMU. He said to visit Texas. He said to visit Georgia at the end of the month. So he's making his rounds, but chances are he'll land at an SEC school. So we just gotta, kind of. And it's not like if anybody could get him, is definitely gonna be Coach O. Coach O is a really good recruiter. He's always been a really good recruiter. And if anybody could get him, it will be him. But it's gonna be tough. Now peeling the layers back. It's going to be dependent on who's the hot team when 2023 rolls around. That's going to be one of the deciding factors. So LSU basically has this season and next season to kind of turn things around, and maybe we could get Arch. So how the football program is doing at that time, that's going to be a big thing. Now Alabama is slated to I'm sure they're going to be high on the list, but here's the thing that you got to realize about Alabama. Alabama always keeps a quarterback or so in the hole. So we may have a situation where he may not be an AJ McCarron where he sees the field 2-3 years. He may not see the field in Alabama because remember, Alabama is replacing a quarterback now. I'm not familiar with who's going to step up. I'm assuming it's going to be it's not going to be a committee. It's going to be maybe a fight. So if we're looking at a freshman or sophomore coming to Alabama, it's a strong possibility that said quarterback can still be there by the time Arch gets there. Now, I do understand Arch is going to be the number one prospect in the country, but when deciding whether or not he wants to go to an Alabama per se, that's going to be a determining factor whether or not he can walk right in and be the man. It's also going to be whether how Nick Saban looks at it, because Nick Saban is not going to. Nick Saban had a dozen quarterbacks that he's made, over his tenure at Alabama. So he's not going to be starstruck by any stretch of the imagination. Although this is a 5-star recruit, this isn't Nick Saban's first 5-star recruit. So that's also going to have something to do with it, because we don't know how. This kid, and I hate to say this, but this kid has got to have and it's not a bad thing, but he's got to have a degree of arrogance. He's got to have some level of arrogance. Your grandfather's NFL royalty. Your uncles are NFL royalty. So, you go to Newman, you've got everything you ever wanted. You're born with a silver spoon in your mouth. So the psyche of a kid like that is going to be different than the psyche of an inner city kid who sees Nick Saban. So it's going to be, he's not going to be starstruck, just like Nick isn't going to be starstruck. So that could play into our hands down the road. It's just something that we got to see. I don't think Texas, I don't think that's going to be on the agenda. I don't think Clemson's going to be on the menu. I definitely think it's going to be an SEC school. It doesn't really surprise me that he's going to all of these different schools, which that tells me he's trying to set his college career up to be at least a 3-year starter. That's what that's telling me by him visiting different schools. He wants his best opportunity to start, and it sounds like some of the schools that he's visited, he's not concerned with taking a challenge from a school that may not be as poised to win a national championship, like an Alabama or an LSU. I do think that will play a part. I think they got to have the pieces. I think they got to be ready. But I don't think he's scared to take the challenge to go out and be the man and begin his collegiate career. And it also depends on how many of his Newman teammates can take that journey with him to LSU. Because if 1 or 2 commit, that could be a thing. We also got the Joe Burrow effect, because I'm pretty sure, and it's not going to be reported, but I'm pretty sure a call could be made by Coach O to have Joe Burrow, just have them come hang out, maybe grab a snowball or whatever, and just talk about his experience at LSU and what it is to be a Tiger, and the distinct, and I think GM Kev was talking about it, the distinct possibility that he'll have to top that 2019 season, which was probably the greatest season in NCAA football.
I concur with that, man. I think the angle of looking at the arrogance of, I don't know if I would say arrogance, but it's a bloodline he got going over there with the Mannings, man. And they definitely are more of a traditionalist set. We know that Archie Manning started it off with Ole Miss. And then, of course, Peyton came along. He bucked it a bit, went to Tennessee. Then you see Eli went to Ole Miss. And what does Arch Manning do? Does he follow the traditionalist mindset to Ole Miss, or does he create his own legacy? That'll be the question. And LSU is going to be vying for his services. We'll see. GM Kev, what are your thoughts on what Uncle Mozzy broke down?
Well, he hit on a lot of good points. Not really much to add to it. I would say this, though. There's a flip side to the Arch Manning conversations, because LSU is not putting all their eggs in one basket. They're still trying to go out there and get Malachi Nelson, number 1 player coming out of California, number 4 all in the whole 2023 draft class. This is a big prospect. Now, this is crazy. How can we get a California kid that still has Oklahoma, Ohio State and USC as some of his favorites.
A panel
Well,
van and a white guy.
he down the street from Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, and you come to Baton Rouge. Here we go again with atmosphere and all the little accessories that go into sometimes recruiting that we don't see. So, and they're saying that we have a better chance of getting Malachi Nelson than we would Arch Manning, and which is crazy because Arch Manning is right down the street. But it shows you that they're still not just putting all their eggs in a basket. They really want Arch Manning because wherever he goes, he's going to bring the spotlight. So LSU doing their due diligence. This is what they're supposed to do. But if they don't get him, I think they'll still be good. You still got Max with 2 years left, and if he plays good, any quarterback that they do recruit for next year is not going to come in and start over him. So we just got to wait and see, Q. But right now, he's not going to make a decision, Arch Manning, probably until his senior year. So we still got another year. Just wait and see.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. It would be a big deal if Coach O and LSU can land Arch Manning and bring him to Tiger Country, man. That'll be a massive move right there. I think that that would just be so spectacular. I just don't want to lose him to an Alabama, and it's just a bad look. But we also know the Mannings are a bit traditionalists as well. So we just have to monitor that story. But 2023, it's a couple of years from now. So we have an opportunity to kind of impress upon, if we need to, moving forward to see if we can kind of make it more of an attractive destination for him. But like you said, he's looking at a lot of different other schools that's going to be throwing everything, including the kitchen sink at him. I hope he sways. But hopefully we kind of betting on Angle to be competitive, and also win in your home state is another thing. And in order to do that, we got to build up some wins here over the next couple of years. And like I said, never underestimate the power of Coach O. That's most certain. All right, let's move into the next article right here. We're talking about the Rose Bowl now. Is the Rose Bowl set for full capacity ahead of the LSU matchup against UCLA? And that is so big because last year we seen a lot of stadiums that were basically not full at all or low capacity because of the C-19 stuff that was going on. But on Tuesday, the state of California lifted a year-long plus long mask mandate, and news from the Sports Word quickly followed with LSU set to travel to UCLA for the season opener September the 4th. The two sides will now be playing in front of a full house. And of course, that was a really big deal right there because that means that we're starting to get back to normal a little bit here. In accordance with the updated public health guidelines regarding the C-19 UCLA football games played at Rose Bowl will be at full seating capacity for the upcoming 2021 season. Additional UCLA athletic events taking place outdoors also follow full seating capacity for the 21-22 season, including soccer games at the Wallace Annenberg Stadium and men's water polo games, etc. Martin Jamon, UCLA's Alice and Noman Liner Family Director of Athletics, says, "We are excited to welcome back students, alumni, and fans to the Rose Bowl and other outside sporting events." And of course, this is a bit of normalcy starting to flow back with this one, but this is big. LSU and UCLA full capacity for the Rose Bowl to start the season off. I'm gonna start with you on this one, GM Kev. What are your thoughts, man? This is good news.
Well, you know what? I look at it what all this stuff that's happening in California is not by coincidence. I think people, forget that Coach O used to coach out there, so he knows the area really well. You see him going after the number one recruit out there. Also, LSU setting up to go out there to UCLA. So I don't think any of this is by accident, but I do like it. The atmosphere is made for like the elite of games. The Rose Bowl is like legendary with those games. So I'm looking forward to it, Q.
Uncle Mozzy, what do you thoughts about that Rose Bowl full capacity? I know we talked about this last show about opening up that season on the road out there in the Rose Bowl against UCLA, and hopefully this will be like a game that we had a couple of years ago when we went off into Texas to take on the Longhorns, and we had a duel between Joey B and our what was, I forgot his name, and that's one of my young favorite college quarterbacks coming out, the quarterback for Texas last year. So I mean, but hope we get Yeah, Sam Ellinger. There you go. Thank you, Sam Ellinger. So, man, hopefully that could be one of these games that kind of spur LSU, kind of jump starts them back into prominence. What do you think about that, Uncle Mozzie?
Well, I told y'all last week that I didn't like the UFC. I didn't like the UCLA thing. I was very, very vocal about that. I told y'all that this reminds me of another frequent Rose Bowl visitor, Wisconsin. This reminds me of
You
the
go with that.
Wisconsin. Yeah, it is, man. So now we got to go to the West Coast to play a team we've never played in a stadium that we've never played in, and it's got the audacity to be at capacity. What's that going to be? What, 80,000 people, 85,000 people?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, yeah, it's going to be breathtaking. It's going to be beautiful. I think the players are going to rise to the occasion. But I mean, they didn't make just one gun. So UCLA is also going to have players that's going to rise to the occasion. And I mean, it's basically a home game for them. So for me, it looks like a classic trap game. Coach O is going to really have to like hone in and get these guys prepared, keep these guys on the straight and narrow path, and focus on that game. That game, like I told y'all last week, is going to springboard the rest of the season. You have a great showing in that game in a very tough environment you've never been in. You know, 1,500 miles from home. It just, I don't know, man. It's a classic trap game, especially with all the new pieces that we're trying to insert. But if we could persevere and win this game, I think sky's the limit for the program. I think that's going to be enough of a confidence booster, and I think we got enough. We've got enough lackluster, lackluster opponent games after that for weaker competition. So any mistakes that we made during the UCLA game, we'll be able to address them in the film room, and then we'll be able to go out, implement new schemes, and we'll be able to work on whatever we got wrong during the UCLA game.
Hey, Q, can I add on to that?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Kev.
Well, to add on to what Mozzie was saying, I would think that Coach O would let his staff and players haven't been out that way ever, the importance of that field. I mean, legends have played on that field.
Yep.
So even though that you're not accustomed to it, when you get on the field of greatness, you want to make your mark. So I don't see it as a trap game. I see it as an opportunity. I think this can prepare you for bigger things down the road because of the atmosphere and what's at stake in week one.
Yeah, when I say trap, I just mean the schedule makers understand the importance of LSU having to win this season. And it's not just a dig at LSU, it's really a dig on the whole SEC. So you take a rebuilding team that's a perennial powerhouse and you stick them on a West Coast schedule with a West Coast team, and then you let 85,000 people in. Good luck. Take off.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I think that these NCAA schedule makers are trying to pull hold in SEC dominance, especially teams like LSU, teams like maybe Georgia. It seems as though if you're not Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, they've got very little tolerance for you as far as the overall scope of how the SEC is valued. For whatever reason, LSU, even after having won, how many we got? 3 in the BCS era. We got 2 or 3 in the BCS era. I think 3 in the BCS era, and we've got 4 appearances. So out of a 22-year BCS run, we account for a large percent of that. We're like 5% of that. We're like 15% of that. That's significant. So we've won. We've been in 15% of the games since the BCS era. When you look at it that way, one team, the LSU Fighting Tigers, could be viewed in a totally different way. We honestly should be viewed right up there with Alabama and Florida, but they would rather take us, poke fun at us, and try to stick us in a precarious situation. Hope that we don't come out so that they could talk about how weak the SEC is and how the SEC is losing its dominance. Well, yeah, you took a team full of people that's rebuilding, young kids, stick them in the West Coast. I can understand that it's a neutral site. It's not a neutral site. If we're playing this in Dallas, I get that. If we're playing in Arizona, I get that. But to play in the Rose Bowl like this, I think that it's a setup. So when I say trap game, I mean trap game, not from the perspective of LSU not being prepared. The schedule makers trying to make it as difficult as possible for said SEC team to win so that they could begin the onslaught about how garbage the some SEC teams like LSU are, and how the 2019 season was just simply a fluke.
Yeah, that's the same sentiment that I'm getting to. A lot of the non-LSU folk out there are saying that the LSU's championship of 2 years ago was a fluke, that it was an aberration, that they'll never be able to duplicate that again. That's what a lot of the Alabama people are saying, that even the sun shines on the dog's ass one time a day. So, I mean, they saying that about the Tigers. So we have to, I'm not so much prove them wrong, but we have to still be able to uphold the status of living, and we have to beat the powerhouses in the SEC to be the powerhouses. And I think LSU's arrived to a point where we beat Alabama, and they are looking at LSU as a rival more so than any other teams that you play in the SEC. That's why it's always a bye week before the LSU Alabama matchup. They know
But
what time it is.
a UCLA loss demoralizes this young team, and it makes it that much easier for Alabama to run the table.
But that could have the opposite effect. We could have the opposite effect where we have a spring. It could be a springboard game similar to what the Tigers of several years ago, when Joe Burrow led them up against Sam Ehlinger's Texas team, and they had a duel there that helped propel LSU into the season. And then we just took it from there. We could have the same effect with Max Johnson. I'm not trying to put him on Joey B's level, but we also realize that it's certain things as a team LSU has to be able to do. Running the ball, they have the continuity, the offensive line intact. All those guys are back. We have to reestablish the run. We have a guy at the quarterback position that's electric. Our defense is, I'm really excited about that. Well, so this could be a springboard game of types, going out to the West Coast, beating a UCLA team in front of a capacity crowd. Listen, I absolutely think it's a good challenge, and I think they're up for it. Okay, Uncle Mozzy, go ahead and chime in on what I said, and also with GM Kev, what Uncle Mozzy said and I said. Go ahead, brother.
I both of y'all do have points. Mozzy do have a point about a lot of these writers or sports enthusiasts behind the scenes on the West Coast or East Coast. They've been hearing all the talk about how good the SEC is every year, but this is not by accident. Coach O had this in plan. I think he's using this for a test for his young team to get them mentally prepared week one, and to really see what they have and how would they fare in a climate like that early. So that gets you ready for the Alabamas and all the SEC road teams down the line. So that's why I'm saying, like, this can go both ways. Nobody's right or wrong in this, because what Mozzy said, if this can demoralize a young team, if they go in there and lay an egg, and you got that 0-1 coming off a 5-5 year last year, and how quick can you get the confidence back up from the alumni? Because it could all snowboard. But I'm going to put my trust in this staff, and that they know what they're doing, and they're going to be ready to play when it's time to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, I got the article right here from Saturday Down South. This is one of many articles that were printed a year ago, and some very current, about is LSU one and done. Should Alabama be concerned about new champions? And the way the behavior of Alabama toward LSU, taking up the bye week before the actual game, is showing you that they get ready for LSU differently than they get ready for an Auburn or anybody else for that matter. So, I mean, if anybody's going to dethrone or beat in Alabama, it's going to be LSU. And Coach O's saying, we're coming for you. Remember, he was saying that, and we took them down in the worst way. We demolished Alabama that year, and we have to keep that going. And a lot of people believe that it was an aberration, but we know better than that. We know that it was not an aberration, and that LSU is for real. And we're gonna have to show these some guns what time it is. But anyway, let's move into the the recruiting news. Uncle Mozzy, this is your part of the show when you shine, my friend. What you got to talk about in terms of the recruiting news? I know we have the information about the Tigers might have the opportunity to bring in C.J. Washington, who committed to Georgia last July, but LSU still recruiting him to bring him in. What other news do you have that you could talk about that you could share with the rest of the Tough Tiger Talk Nation?
Well, the two main points that I've got for this week anyway. They got a couple of things, but nothing as noteworthy as these two. So it looks like we're trying to flip Georgia's recruit, but Coach Drink has already flipped ours over at Mizzou. So I don't know if you guys had heard about this, but Marcus Scott, who's a 4-star recruit, had already been committed to us. He committed to us about I don't know, maybe a year ago. But he's still visiting schools, and he met with Coach Drink about a week ago, and from all points and coming out saying that he's going to be going over to Missouri. So we'll wind up losing him. He's a 5'8", he's a 4-star recruit, 5'8", 6'2", 170 cornerback from Conroe, Texas. He goes to Conroe High. He's got 6 offers: LSU, Auburn, Houston, Texas Tech. He got a bunch of different offers on the table, but he had committed to us. And according to his Instagram account, he's pictured on his Instagram account with a number 8 Missouri jersey on. So another one bites the dust for the Tigers, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to the wrong Tigers.
Right.
So, and back to your point with the 4-star linebacker CJ Washington, he'll be coming out in 2022. He's definitely going to Georgia. LSU's trying to court him. Georgia's kind of one of those teams, kind of up and down. So we can definitely get him, but again, a lot of that's going to be hinging on what we do going forward this season into the off season. Saying, okay, well, we got our winning ways back. We're definitely on the right path, and this is the school you need to be at. But if Georgia is playing like they've been playing for the last couple of years, I could definitely understand why he would want to go to Georgia, especially given the fact that he's already from Cedartown, Georgia, which, I mean, that's going to be, an in-state thing. That'd be like a New Orleans kid going to LSU and playing in Baton Rouge. So it may be a little tough to get him to hop over a couple states, but if LSU can pull off some serious wins this year, and that defense is stout as it's been in the past, I think that if they return to their greatness in defense and he can come in and start or have a good chance at starting, I think that we'll be able to get him, because I think we just offer more pizzazz than Georgia does.
GM Kev, you want to comment?
Well, I look at it like, it's hard to get a lot of these guys from out of state to come to Baton Rouge. You got to think again, Baton Rouge. You because I look at it like when you get these recruits to come to like Alabama, they're not going there because of what all is there to do in Alabama and what are the sites. They're there because they want to win and they want to go to the league and try possibly be a high draft pick. So you got to sell them on winning. So that comes with us starting with this year, having at least double-digit wins, getting an important bowl, get TV time, making that push that like we can be right there at the elite status again. That's the only way you're going to get these players. They're not coming here because of the scenery, So you're not getting these guys out of Florida and California and even some parts of Georgia, because they could just go down to Atlanta right there, and be at home. So for them to go to Baton Rouge, scenery-wise, is not a big thing. So it's just a lot that goes in that cube. So right now is the other battle that's before the games are played. Who's winning this recruiting battle is going to tell you a lot about what's going to happen in the season.
Yep.
My thing about it, I'm gonna come at it from a different angle in terms of the scenery, and if you want to look at the trees and all that type of shit, and look at the water, that's one thing. But if you won't win and play football, you won't come and play in the SEC, which is the best conference and all football conference in the land, and you won't play for a perennial winner, come to LSU. Play in front of 100,000 screaming, dedicated purple and gold people. That's all the scenery you need to worry about.
It's not that simple, Q.
The hell with watching the trees and watching the river and the bushes and all that kind of crap. And most of these universities have the landscape set up really nice and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's all about the football. And Miami and all these other teams are non-SEC schools, and we know that the level of football in the SEC is second to none. So we understand that coming here, that's one of the things I think that they could push to these kids and make them understand. As long as we win it on the field, and you might have an opportunity to play here in front of a screaming 100,000 plus people in Death Valley, man, what is better than that?
What you just said, the scenery. You got to
There
remember,
is-
you're
that's the
talking to
only
17
scenery.
and 18-year-old kids, man.
But it's forget about the trees and the rose bushes is what I'm talking about.
But see, this is another. Okay, so let's look at this element. There's a reason. Now I know if we want to go back in history. Now the SEC wasn't as dominant the years when Reggie Wayne was coming out of high school. When he was on his recruiting trip and he went to LSU. Like Miami was one of his last stops, and when he got there, that's how he picked Miami because of the scenery. Now that's a top guy out of the state that we lost because of scenery. So Q, that does play a big part in these conversations. I do hear what you're saying about the winning aspect because that should get a lot of players. And with whatever Nick Saban is doing with the Wizard or the Ghost, or whoever he called this dude over there, man, they doing some brainwashing because these dudes not going to Alabama for the scenery, bro. They going there to win and be top picks. And we have to adopt that, and having a sustainable winning culture is how we get them. I do believe you on that one. But some kids we not gonna get because some kids gonna look for those extras.
Well,
they're gonna look for those.
That's
You're not
fine.
gonna get all of them. Yeah.
If he want the off campus stuff and do all that, that's fine. But you're not here for that. You're here to get into the NFL, I would hope. You're here to maximize your opportunity to become a professional football player, and LSU is the perfect venue for that. That's why some of the best recruiting occurs when you have a stadium full of people and some of these recruits come on game days and see all of the screaming LSU 50 to 60,000 people outside of the stadium, and then another 100 something inside of the stadium. Is ruckus all over the place, is love of the purple and gold all over the place. I'm saying that's the scenery that matter. When you become a professional, you can go live in Miami, you can buy a house over here, you can do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, if you want to play for a winner in front of a real high college environment, that's Death Valley, that's LSU. That's my push. And if you want to go down to the Strip and all this other kind of stuff, then take your ass on over there because you ain't serious about winning anyway. I don't want you worrying about the wrong stuff. You supposed to be worried about playing some football. So I can't compete with Las Vegas Strip or Miami or whatever else, Atlanta.
We're not going to win it.
I'm not going. Your mind, you in the wrong place already. The only thing I could do is show you what you can get here and how we producing professional athletes into the NFL right now. We're going to talk about all of the guys, whether they Jamal Adams, Grant Delpit, Leonard Fournette, Jamar Chase. I mean, it don't make a damn difference. Joey Burrow. The list goes on and on of top level talent that we turn out into the damn league. That's where your little strip at. That's your little walk or whatever you want to do. That's what you need to be paying attention to. Now, the rest of the guys, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Now, what you think about that, Mozzy?
I wish it was that easy, Q. I'm going to be honest. You must not have been on Complex Instagram lately, brother. Like, I mean, listen, that's what it's not just the parents. It's not just the coaching staff. It's not just the existing players, but it's also their social circle and their extended social media social circle. For a kid to be a 4-star recruit with a blue check by his name and 50,000, 60,000 followers on a social media platform, and for everybody to be in this kid's head telling him what he should do, where he should go, that's another element. That's an element we didn't have to deal with a decade ago. That's an element we didn't have to deal with 5 years ago. So, this is going to be the first major class, right? Well, actually, it probably was last year. Well, it was probably the 2019 season. But with the COVID break, now is going to be everybody flooded social media is packed right now. So, moreover than any other time in our lives, social media, as you see in professional sports, how many times have you seen a LeBron James or a James Harden or a KD take to Twitter or take to social media, and then they just put stuff out there? And I've seen KD do it so many times where he said something and retracted it due to social media pressure. And this guy has been in the league 12 years, worth $150, $200 million. So for a kid that's trying to make it, that's praying to get to the league, for him to be able to kind of have fun and still work on getting into the league, that's what Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and these are gonna be his influences. Outside of just the parents and the coaching staff and the existing players. It's going to come down to, maybe, hey, I'm not saying it happens or it doesn't happen, but I mean, who's to say that, Miami coach has some of the girls in Miami to DM him beforehand. And like, I hear you coming down this weekend. My
Now we
name's so
pimping,
and
huh?
so. You see what I'm saying?
We
Isn't
pimping
that
now.
tampering? Hey,
We
hold on,
pimping
hold
now.
on.
Hey, but it's a dirty game. It's a
It is a
dirty
dirty game,
world,
yeah.
brother.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's a dirty
Yeah.
game. But
Yeah.
these are the influences that prospective kids coming into a college atmosphere have, and we're expecting a 16-year-old kid to
Right.
make a commitment without the influence of his immediate peers and extended peers via social media.
Yeah.
It's just tough. That's tough.
There's an
It's tough
element here.
having teenage kids. I have teenage kids. Just raising them to go to the store correctly without other influences from social media is tough. So just
Yeah.
think about going to a college. I don't know, man. It's
It's
just
a
tough.
different element. Because see, we're talking because a lot of us here on this panel, we're before this whole media thing they got going right now with social media. So we look at it both ways as far as like from a player standpoint, whether you have your mind and what are you, set on doing. But with this social media element, a guy would be like, well, why can I go have fun and go to the NFL? Now it might
Right.
won't be at LSU or Alabama, but shit, USC is right here. They still got, they not the elite of the elites anymore, but they still got history. It's still pretty and beautiful out here, and USC still send
In LA.
players to the NFL. So I
And
can
it's
have
in
the best
LA.
of both worlds.
That's
It's
right.
hard to get a guy that's in that environment, going to beaches and like Mozzy said, they rolling on skates and all that down there, and to come to Baton Rouge, you got to sell them a little more now than just winning. Q, that ain't enough no more. I'm telling you, bro, it ain't enough.
That's not enough, bro. That's not enough.
No.
When you
So
get
getting your ass to the NFL and playing in front of 100,000 people in a real deal, high level college environment is not enough to get you there. We're not going to win all of these children. I get what you're saying. We're not going to get all these kids, but we are going to get the ones that understand. I'm going to LSU because I know LSU is a top notch program that'll help me accomplish my dreams from a school standpoint. Also, as a professional athlete, to get to the next level because they churn out a lot of fantastic talent in that SEC. So I mean, hey, I hear where you coming from. I got an article here showing the impacts of social media doing college recruiting. So you guys are absolutely correct on that. But let's segue from that, fam. I want to I'm gonna get to a couple of questions here for you guys to answer before we go in. Brother Damien, big ups to Brother Damien and the rest of the Tough Tiger Talk family chiming in on this one. Brother Damien is asking the question. Who do you think, Big Q, who do y'all think will be the starting quarterback in week 1 for the LSU Fighting Tigers? You want to start off, Uncle Mozzy, then GM Kev? I'm
honestly,
going with Max.
Yeah, that's easy.
I'm going with Max.
I'm going Max. I mean, but I'm going Max. But here's the thing, though, man. Like Max is like a grandfather. Like I really think that we should have just tried to work with TJ Finley. I think he has all of the. I think he had all of the attributes. I think he has everything that the makings of a really powerful. He's like Jamarcus Russell all over again. But I know we're gonna opt out. We're gonna opt out for Grandpa, and we're gonna stick him under center. And
why do you call him Grandpa?
Chris Winky, because he's like 30 years old. He's like 30 years old or something
He
like
has
that.
an old soul.
He's literally like 30 years old. So it's like it's Chris Winky reloaded with this guy. So I don't know. I mean, listen, he's a 30-year-old collegiate quarterback. I mean, I have a problem with that, huh? No, am I the only one?
No, he's not a 30-year-old.
He's not 30 though.
He's not Chris Twinkie. I mean, no, he's not. He's not Chris Winky, Uncle Mozzy. I disagree with that. I think he also has his father's Brad Johnson. Maybe that's why you are throwing him out there and saying that he got old. But this guy was electric last year, man. for them. Finley had an opportunity, but at stretches he stalled out, and they were both true freshmen playing the position. But Max Johnson seized the position. He was electric. He was making plays with his feet and his arm as well. And when you've seen those last several games on the back end of the season, we knew who the starting quarterback was going to be coming into the following year. I mean, I have to go with Max Johnson. But you like TJ Finley, and I understand that. But I just think Johnson had a lot of more upside. He has that pedigree. His father was Brad Johnson. Wasn't a big-time quarterback. But nonetheless, you got, I guess, to a degree, that's a positive, because the kid could play football. I mean, for what I'm seeing, and I think he still has a lot to show us.
But he will be 30 years old when the season starts.
He is not 30. What are you getting 30 from?
Dude, he's 29 years old.
Bro, look at the picture of Max Johnson, bro. It's on screen. This man is not a 29-year-old quarterback, bro.
Max Johnson is 29 years old. He'll be 30 years old when the season starts.
Mozzy,
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that, my brother.
I don't even think you would be eligible at 29 to play.
Y'all got those big pretty phones. Y'all look it up. His dad's 52.
Let me see. Let's see if Miles is right, man.
Bro, this dude's about to be 30 years old. Like that's
what's the age? What's the age limit in college? For to be eligible like that. What's the limit?
I think Mozzy making a joke.
I promise you, this dude is 30 years old when the season starts. That's what I keep telling you.
Oh no, Q, he's right.
That's
29. What I'm trying to tell you.
He's 29, man. He was born in 1991, man. Wow, I didn't even know that. I had no idea he was 29.
That's what I keep telling y'all. Keep talking about Max Johnson. I'm like, bro, dude.
I thought you were joking.
Nah.
Yeah, he is 29.
I
didn't realize he was that old. Good grief.
Right. He's an up in age NFL quarterback, bro. Much less a college quarterback. Like, what are we doing?
So your Chris Winkie, your analogy is spot on if that's the case.
Spot on. Yeah.
29 years of age. Let me put that on the screen.
But hold on, didn't Chris Winkie, didn't he win the championship at Florida State though?
Yes, he did. He beat.
Okay, so if Max can get us that, then we'll accept that, then, right?
Who did he beat? He beat. Was it Oklahoma? It was a horrible game.
I think it was looking at Virginia Tech with Michael Vick.
The game. The finals. No, I think it was Miami. Was it Florida State, Miami? Yeah, I think that it was Miami because that was as a matter of fact, he lost that game. He didn't win that game. I think he lost that game to the little young kid went to San Francisco and never had a chance to play.
Oh, you're talking about? I know you're talking about Ken.
I can't think his name, man. It's killing me.
Yeah, but he won a championship at Miami. I know who you're talking about.
Right. You're right. Yeah. So he was really good at Miami. Went to San Francisco and couldn't play. Yeah, but that's what I keep telling you about Max Johnson. He's like 30 years old, so he should be the most experienced kid. He's like a sophomore.
Hey man,
that dude running around that campus cutting up. That's all I know.
Wow, I didn't even know you could be 29 playing college football. As a sophomore, like, is that the first time this happened before, man?
Chris Winkie, I think, was like 27 or 28.
I think Chris Winkie was younger at Florida State, but maybe a couple of years younger.
Yeah, but I think he was still his eligibility. I think he was a senior. He was a 4-year senior, like 27 or 28. Which I mean to me, that's crazy too. But yeah, Max Johnson like 29. So
wow,
that's what I'm saying. I just don't see the longevity as a collegiate player because even if we win with him, they're gonna say he's a 30-year-old man playing with a bunch of kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the problem that I keep having with Max Johnson. Where I keep saying like, well, let's get TJ Finley because like we got a 30-year-old quarterback. He got great. Bro, he literally showered with Just for Men for grade. Like,
Q, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna flip this whole conversation because I had no idea the guy was 29, bro. I just never would imagine he was 29.
That's why I'm telling y'all. I say, man, like, hey, he got great genetics though. He looked like he about 18.
I know. That's what I thought he was about 19, 20. I ain't 29.
But even though we found out that he's 29 years of age, does that hurt the
No. We're not gonna. I'm not letting you all Kev make it on that. No.
Hold on.
He will be 30 years old. in the Rose Bowl.
I'm
He's
asking
30
the
years
question.
old when the season
Okay,
starts.
he's 29 years of age, Uncle
He'll be
Mossy.
30.
He'll be 30 by the time that
Okay,
Rose Bowl game comes
okay,
around.
he's 30 years old for the
All
Rose
right.
Bowl, but does that stop or hurt the fact that we winning games with a
I ain't gonna
30-year-old
lie.
quarterback? I mean, come on, who cares? As long as we winning the games.
Those
It's
conversations
paying you-
gonna come up from the
Yeah.
sports media. They're gonna come up. They're gonna write about that.
Yeah,
Who
it's paying
cares?
you-
We winning. I don't
But-
care if
but
they're
no,
writing
I'm
about nothing.
Well, they're gonna try to question the validity because should
Hey,
this guy
Yeah,
even
they're
be
gonna
playing with
always
kids?
do that.
Hold on, Q, hold on.
If it ain't Alabama doing it, they're gonna question
hold on,
it anyway, right?
hold on, Q. We got to call it down the middle straight. You know, let's take the fan side about right. Let's look at it with, just you're not a fan of either team. You're just gonna call it how it is. You got a 30-year-old quarterback by the time he reaches the Rose Bowl. So
Yeah.
if you win these games, and let's say they run the table and win the championship, it may be after this year they're going to change the college rules about eligibility because it's going to be like, this guy was 30 years old playing against 18 and 19-year-olds. Like, is that really fair?
You see?
So,
That's like
Man,
honestly,
listen, we're not breaking any rules doing this. The man is they able to bring the guy in. He's 29 right now. He'll be 30 when the first game. And we're not breaking any rules. We're abiding by the rules that's in position. So
you
all
said
I
that
care.
because you're an LSU guy. You
No,
said that
no, no,
because
no.
you're an LSU guy.
I don't care if we was playing UCLA and they had a 30-year-old
Oh,
quarterback.
come
I'll
on,
be saying
man,
the
Q.
same.
You would
I
be talking
would.
about.
No, I
Let
would
me ask
not.
you a question, Q.
I would
Let me ask
not.
you a
I wouldn't
question.
give a damn because we would beat their ass if they had a 30-year-old quarterback or a
Okay.
20-year-old quarterback.
Let me ask you a
That's what I'm
question.
saying.
Would you trip if UCLA let Dak Prescott come out and start for them?
Bro, that's totally.
I'm just asking because he'll be 28.
It's a
He'll be
good point.
28. Huh?
You get all 29 years old, all those quarterbacks in the NFL be like, hey, you put him on a team. It's like, I mean, he got a point. This is a grown man playing against a lot of these guys going to be just coming out of high school, man. Like,
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro.
But
Like,
the issue is it's
That's
not
crazy,
illegal
bro.
for them to do it. If it
It's
was,
not-
they
it's
would
not
have stopped it.
illegal. Listen, it's not
Man,
illegal.
look,
I'm saying, so what is the
But it's
point here?
high-
Why are we
it's
worrying
a-
about how
Well, hold
old
on,
the
hold
man
on.
is? I'm
It's
trying to
highly
win.
unethical, bro. It's
It is
highly
not highly unethical. Highly
So,
unethical is when Alabama uses a guy called the Wizard to brainwash its players into understanding the system uniformly. That's
Hey,
unethical.
But guess
Is that
what,
a-
though?
is that
But you won't bet an eye on that.
Max
is that
Johnson,
allegedly?
No, that's not
Max
alleged.
wouldn't fall for that because him and Saban almost the same age. So there's no way Max would get brainwashed if he was over there. They like grew up together. They went to the same high school. Bro, come on. He's like a 30-year-old guy.
Man, I don't
Yeah,
care about
That's
any of that,
cold,
man.
bro. But that does change the conversation, though. I had no idea this guy about to be 30 years old, man. Come on,
How
bro.
does it change? What are y'all talking
It
about
changes,
ethics
Q.
for?
Come
This don't
on,
have
Q.
nothing to do with ethics. If
Okay,
it's
Q.
not, listen to me. It's
Okay.
not illegal or immoral for you to have that guy. The rule says that you can have him in there. It's not illegal or immoral. He has, if he's going to college and he has the ability to play football and he's healthy enough to play football, then they're going to let him play football. This is not a sport in college where you can hold back a guy that might be older than other students just because he's a student in college at the age of 28, 29, or even 30. You can't stop him from playing professional sports because he's
Q,
28. If
but
he's
Q, you
healthy
do
enough to
realize-
play, he can play.
Right,
Oh,
you realize though, like
You guys
not even,
are-
not
I don't
even
understand
Warren
you
Moon was
guys.
30 when he came back from the
Who
CFL,
cares
though,
about
bro.
any of that? All I'm
just
saying is,
bro.
you
That's
worried
right
about
with you on
people
that
say.
one, Q.
All I'm hearing you guys say is that you concerned with what the media is going to say if we win with Max Johnson at the quarter. I don't give a rat's ass what the media is saying about us if we win with Max Johnson at the helm. I didn't care. I didn't care when we beat him with Joey Burrow. I didn't care when everything else, when it was saying that it was an aberration. They always are talking mess about the Tigers.
And guess what? I would go for that. But guess
Yeah.
what? You put up so much rebuttal when I told you his age. That's how I know his age bothers you.
No. Listen, it don't bother me that he's
It
29
bothers
or
you.
30
You
years
went to
old.
Google, bro.
Hold
It
on.
bothers you.
I listen. All of the reason I had to validate what you were saying because I had to figure out if that was the truth. I thought he was a lot younger than that because you don't.
that's insane.
Hold on, no, it's not insane because you don't often see guys that old in the NFL in college playing quarterback.
Yeah.
But it happens. It happens. It is not illegal. It's not immoral, and it's not unethical. You guys are simply buying into the media getting upset if we win with this quarterback. I'm telling you, that should not be the forefront of your minds when we winning games for LSU. It shouldn't be the fact that, but they're gonna say we won these contests and we won a national championship because we had a 30-year-old quarterback. Who gives a damn what they say? They always talking shit about the Tigers. Who
Hey,
cares?
you ever saw that movie with Scott Bakula, Unnecessary Roughness?
No, I never seen that movie.
He was a 30-year-old quarterback in that movie, and they gave him the business. Hey, guess what? Like, I tell you one thing, he gonna get an endorsement with Bengay or like Aspercreme or like Biofreeze.
No, that's just is absolutely insane.
This guy about to be 30 next month, bro.
Who cares, Kev? What the hell? You guys,
come on, man.
bro,
Come on.
what's wrong with you guys? That's
Look,
not.
No,
listen,
what's
hold on.
wrong with that
What is
guy?
y'all beef? You worrying about what the media is saying? You guys need to cut that out.
No, it's not
Yes,
about
it
the
is.
media.
What
It's
is it about
look,
then?
Bro, look, I mean, you got to think about it from a maturity level, and more likely should be a physicality level. Man, I don't know what he was doing in the last 9 years, because most of these guys come out like 18, 19, maybe some 20, depends on, how you did in high school.
You do realize
So,
they
but this
got
guy, hold on, Q.
students that go that's
But hold
older
on,
than
hold on.
21
Let
to
me get my
22,
point
right?
across, though, man. Because see, you coming at it because you
I'm
from the
saying.
Tiger side of it.
No,
But
I am not looking at the
look-
Tiger side of it.
Yes, you are. Because me and Mozzy looking at it like straight down the middle. Because if
No, you
we
guys are
play,
not.
okay, hold on. If we play UCLA, they had a 30-year-old quarterback, and he came out there and drilled us, beat us 50-something to 0. You're gonna be like, man, the quarterback is 30 years old. He had experience.
Right.
So you can't
cares?
flip it.
Who
You can't flip
cares?
it.
I listen. No. It's not about flipping anything. If the rule says you can have that guy out there, that's fine, man. It's fine. We lost to a 30-year-old quarterback. Who cares? At the end of the day, we wasn't good enough to beat the team in your scenario. But I'm saying what you guys are saying is not illegal. It's not unethical. It's not not moral or whatever you want to
It's
call
just
it.
unusual. Yeah.
It's not usual for you to have a 30-year-old quarterback playing for a college team. This is true. But athletes come, and students that go to school, some of them are not in their early 20s or mid 20s. They got people that go to school that are a little older than that. And sometimes you'll get guys that are athletes that's healthy enough to play football with younger players who've passed their physicals because they wouldn't let them out there if they couldn't. And they allow them to play with the rest of them. They're eligible. To hold those older people out would be discriminatory, is what I'm saying. That's when it becomes unethical.
See,
but
for me,
hold on, Mozzy, but what you
sorry.
guys are talking about, you're not calling it down the middle. All you guys doing is worrying about what the media would say if our quarterback beat them. That's your spiel. That's
Why
how
haven't
you
they
got it.
publicized that? Why hadn't Coach O came out and said, I call quarterback 30
Because he
years old?
doesn't care. The man can play football. Who cares if he's 29 or 30 years old?
See,
He can play football.
I'm going to be honest, Q. When I
Come
first
on
heard he
now.
was Brad Johnson's son, I was like, wait a minute. Brad Johnson went to the Super Bowl in 2002.
Yeah.
He was already like a 17-year veteran when he went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And he went to the Super Bowl 20 years ago. So I'm like, damn, how old is his kid just going to LSU? I say he must got a young wife or something. So I went to look. And when I looked, this kid was born in 1991.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, man. I thought it was a typo. I had to go and research on like 5 other sites to figure out exactly what was going on. But like they definitely not publicized that or say anything about that.
Yeah.
That's why he was able to come in last year and have such great success because he already knew it. He said he worked at the nursery when all of the other players were born. Like, bro, that's literally Alvin Kamara playing against St. Aug. Like, that's literally what that is, bro.
Man, cut it out,
That's
bro.
literally what that is, though.
That's
Like,
a good comparison, man. That's a good one, bro.
Look what Damian said. Damian said he could be 50 as long as he's winning games. I could care less.
Nah,
Yeah.
bro.
No,
I can't
come
roll
on,
on
man.
that.
What are you? These guys are caught up in public
Can't
opinion.
roll.
That's what this is.
Can't
Uncle
roll on that.
Mozzy
But
and
listen,
GM
here's the
Kev
thing. Here's
are
the
both
thing.
caught
You
up
would
on
flip.
public opinion.
You would flip.
I would not flip. I would not care if it was 30 years old.
Let me ask you a question. Would you flip? I'm gonna give you and I'm gonna give Mr. Damien a scenario, and we're gonna put it like this. And you're not gonna like it. Would you trip, or would you think it would be unethical if, right, a 30-year-old student who didn't play football had a relationship with an 18-year-old freshman?
Mm.
A 30-year quarterback and an 18-year-old
No, no,
freshman.
a 30-year-old student, not quarterback. So he had no fanfare behind him. Excuse me. He was just a straight up and down, ordinary 30-year-old guy, right? Or you know what? He's a straight. Would you have an issue, right? If you found out that a 30-year-old guy was dating an 18-year-old freshman that went to LSU, he used his maturity and he used his stature at being 30 years old to court his way into this 18-year-old woman's life. Would you think that unethical? It's not illegal, but how would you look at it?
I mean, that chick is 18 years old. She could pick whoever she wants to date, and she
I,
picked this
I
30-year-old
get
guy
that.
to date.
How would you look at it though? How would it
I
be
mean,
looked at?
that's her decision. I mean, what can I say about that? I mean, come on.
I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with somebody 30 days. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is,
how would I look at it? I would say
if he used his position at he went to LSU. She went to LSU, so he used his position in the school. He used his age. He used his elevated age and his maturity to basically brainwash an 18-year-old into a relationship. That's how everybody would look with that.
I'm with Damien. He said, what do that have to do with football, homie? That's a whole different scenario. I'm with Damien.
You got a 30-year-old guy playing football with
a
bunch
bunch
of high school kids.
He's a student, like you said, Q.
He's a student. It's legal.
Yeah.
It's not unethical. I'm saying what's unethical would be to deny this man an opportunity to play at college. If he goes to school at LSU and he's healthy enough, he passes an exam.
A second or third string guy, yes, but to have a 30-year-old as your starter,
I'm saying, listen. I'm saying this is not a long-term option. But he's experienced enough. He is mature because of his age. He comes from the pedigree. His father was an NFL player for many years. So he taught him many years. So he taught him how to play football. His other son is a tight end who's a hell of a tight end, a wide receiver tight end. But I'm saying this. It doesn't matter if he passes his examination at LSU. He's 28, 29, or 30 years old, and he's physically could play the game, that he could play with the rest of the students there, because it don't matter how old he is. If he's able physically to play the game, he didn't violate any rules. It wasn't nothing unethical.
Yeah,
you guys are what I'm saying is, if it's not unethical, if it's not violating any rules, then what's the problem?
Because
the problem
ESPN and Fox News, if we win, they are going to look at us in a certain light.
See, and that's what I was saying when you were saying I wasn't saying that. That's exactly what I'm saying. You guys are worried about what the national press is going to say if we start winning games with a 30-year-old quarterback, and that is the wrong vantage point to take.
They did it to Chris Winkie, though, but you realize they did it. Who cares? They did the same thing to Chris Winkie.
But did they take the championship away?
They didn't take the championship away. No.
Okay, so what you worrying about? What's the horrible thing about having a 30-year-old quarterback that's going to help you win games at LSU? I don't get that part.
Well, let me ask you this. Q. Let's just hypothetically say he goes out there as not having a good season. Could you consider the age would be a factor?
No, I wouldn't say the age was a factor. He's too old. He's not getting it or whatever. No, I wouldn't say that. I would just say that he's just not getting it. He's not a good fit for the offense, and we will move on to somebody else. That's how we look at it. The age don't have nothing to do with it unless he hurt and he can't keep up with the rest of the players. But you seen last year that he was outrunning people. He was throwing the ball downfield. He was electric out there. So in many aspects, he's not going to be under them to a degree. In actuality, he has the maturity angle where some of these guys have yet to get there. But he is mature enough to operate that offense, and I think that's a plus more so than it is a minus.
Oh, it's definitely a plus, but I'm telling you is the national scene will look at that as a horribly unfair advantage.
But I don't care what they say because it's not illegal and immoral. So who cares what their opinion is?
Okay, well, I'm gonna hold you to that when you're on the show screaming and yelling how nobody respects us. Nobody wants to give us.
I am not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that about just because you say I'm going to be saying that and you're going to blame it on the 29 or 30-year-old quarterback. Well, the reason we're losing is because we got a 30-year-old quarterback. That's what you guys are coming from. I don't care about the pop culture. I don't care what the national media says about LSU, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. We go over the stories, and some of the stories we ferret out the facts of the matter. But a lot of the stories that are written about LSU from other press is not in a fashion that is a positive one. They have
Yeah.
already lined their bed with Alabama for many years. So
But
I
why
don't
so
care.
though?
Because
We
they're
want to
winning.
be.
They win. They're
But
winners. They're
They
winning
win.
championships. That's what it
They
comes
win
down to.
consistently. They win
Right.
consistently.
But this is
But
the
That's what it's
thing.
about.
We've gone to four
Which
of
is what
them
we supposed to be
and won
focusing on,
3
and
of
not
them.
the age of this quarterback. We need to
no,
focus on
but no,
winning, not that other stuff.
no, we're not gonna do that because Q, if this was reversed with somebody else and it wasn't LSU, you would be all over it. So
Why
Yep.
you keep
you
talking
would be
about
on it.
I would be
You would
worried
be
about a
on it.
30-year-old quarterback. I'm not concerned
Oh,
about
Q.
somebody's 30-year-old
You're
quarterback.
not
I'm not.
concerned because he's an
I'm
LSU Tiger.
no.
That's why.
Now listen to what I'm telling you. I'm telling you out of my mouth right now
Okay.
that I don't care if because he probably not the only older quarterback in
Oh,
college.
he's the only one. He's the only
There are
one.
other quarterbacks out there. You gonna tell
No
me they
other
got
reputable program. That's the thing. We want to be respected as a reputable powerhouse
man?
program.
Listen,
Mhm.
man. You
What other
don't.
reputable
No.
powerhouse
You
program
get
is pulling off this? This is a gimmick to
you
me.
get respect by winning. That's all it's about. You
This
get
is a
respect
gimmick.
by winning. That's what it's about. It's
Mhm.
about winning consistently and every year, and being in the conversation talk every year. That's how you get respect in college football, college sports, or pro sports. Winning consistently when other people can't do it. That's what it's about. I have absolutely nothing against a student athlete that's 28 or 29 or 30 that's on my club or somebody else's. They're not violating any rules. They're not doing anything immoral. You guys just don't like it because you don't want to hear the national press's mouth when you start winning, and they're gonna say, "Well, of course they win. They got a 30-year-old quarterback at the play," and you
Ding
guys
ding.
worried about what they're
Yeah,
saying.
it's coming. It's coming.
Ding ding
I
ding
don't
ding
care
ding.
about that,
Q,
and that shouldn't be the focus
Q.
of your
Hold on.
analysis on that.
Okay,
That's
but
the
yeah,
wrong way to
okay.
look at it.
Not really, because championships have been scripted from teams before.
But come on, Kevin.
I'm just saying.
They're
You
gonna look
saying
at us as
it's not
paper
illegal?
champs.
No,
Hold on.
I'm not buying it, bro.
Since you're gonna put, let's put allegedly tags. Since you're saying it's not illegal and it's not unethical, do we really know it's not legal and not unethical? Do we really know?
If it was, they would have hammered your ass already because they
Hey,
look
we
at
don't know.
LSU right now.
It's been a lot of stuff going
L-
on there with that. Let's keep it
LSU.
real.
So you mean to tell me it would be illegal to have a 29 or 30-year-old quarterback? He's a student athlete. He's allowed to play.
I'm just saying, like the other alternative to. I'm not saying that he's is or not. I'm just saying, and I'm just trying to open your eyes. You're on this defense mode because he's an LSU Tiger. If he was a
No,
Florida
that's
State
not
guy
it.
who whooped our ass and he was 30 years old,
I don't
you'd be-
care. I wouldn't care.
you-
I wouldn't care. That's what I'm trying to get. You
okay.
keep saying that I would care if it was a 30-year-old quarterback that beat the. I would not care. I'm telling you, I wouldn't care.
Okay.
You just wasn't good enough to win the game. That's what it comes down to. I don't care if the man 28 or 29 or 30. All I care about is wins and losses and us competing. That's what I care about. It is not illegal to have a 29-year-old or 30-year-old student athlete on your college football program. It's not immoral. It's not illegal. And only immoral thing would happen is they prevented this 29 or 28 or 27 or 30-year-old athlete from competing with others if he was physically able to do so, and he has to take physicals to do that. And he's passed his physicals, obviously, and he's on the team. I don't care about the age stuff. If you could play football and help us win, and you're competent and you're physically able to do it, that's all I care about. I don't care about what the national press says about his age. I don't give a damn about that. All I care about is getting wins and winning championships and being competitive. That's what I care about. And that's why I'm saying you guys' mentality should be on that same thing about wins and losses, not about people saying that LSU only winning because they got a 30-year-old quarterback. That's totally out of sight.
It's okay to in this conversation we're gonna agree to disagree because you got your stance on it. I got our stance on it. So it's like, hey, I ain't saying nobody right or wrong, but we do have a viewpoint on it, though, Q. So you can't just ignore it. Like,
no, I'm not ignoring what you guys are saying. What I'm saying is that if you look at the bottom line for the LSU Tigers is wins and losses. That is the top thing that needs to be thought about in this discussion. It's about wins and losses. None of you guys would disagree with me on that.
No,
so if that's the top statement being made, then that overrides anything else that's in this whole discussion. It's about wins and losses. It's not about what they're going to say about us if we get said wins or losses. So
But Q, you have to.
that is the top thing right now. All that other stuff doesn't matter.
It doesn't. I mean, because they're gonna start him and they're gonna play him. But the only thing I'm trying to explain to you in this position, where so much rides on maturity and decision making, he has a distinct advantage being 30 years old.
That's fine.
Playing college football.
That's fine. And we got an advantage. Now,
no, not an advantage. A distinct advantage. An advantage would be having a 250-pound quarterback that can run
listen, they can have if Alabama can do the same thing, Tennessee can do the same thing, Vanderbilt and Kentucky, Florida, Arkansas, Missouri, all of them can go get 28, 29, 30-year-old quarterbacks.
Why aren't they?
Yeah. Because who cares why not? They can do it if they want to. How do you know they don't have 28 or 29 or 30-year-old quarterbacks in college? You don't know. You don't know how.
I just looked it up. They had
no, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. There was
we got to do some research on that.
There was 8 in recent years who have played over the age of 30. None of them were quarterbacks. There have been actually 2 61-year-olds who played college football, and they have had 8 in recent years who have played over the age of 30. But none of these people were quarterbacks, according to the website Quora.com.
Anybody can get that kind of quarterback. If you want a 28, 29, or 30-year-old quarterback, they can all go do it. LSU's not doing something that any other team is doing. I mean, we don't have a wizard that's brainwashing the players like Alabama have. Okay, we can get us a wizard to brainwash, because that's really how Saban's doing that. Saban, he tried to do that with Alvin Kamara. People think I'm joking about that. You can go look up the Bleacher Report article where Alvin Kamara told the whole story about he went to talk to this dude, and this doctor he was trying to brainwash Alvin Kamara, and Alvin Kamara did not take to the brainwashing and bucked against it. And then they said that he was possessed by devils and all this kind of bullshit. No lie. Go look this up. It's a Bleacher Report article that they wrote on it about Alvin Kamara and what really happened at Alabama. That's why he left them and went to Tennessee. Because Nick Saban, that's how he win in these fucking games. Nick Saban is using weird ass rituals and shit over there, brainwashing players to be susceptible to whatever he want them to do. And that's not how you're supposed to do it. Not sending them to the wizard to have that done. Now that is immoral in my opinion. It might not be illegal, but that is unethical to be brainwashed. I don't want my child going there and be brainwashed, going to a fucking psychologist or not a psychologist, whatever the guy is, and be brainwashed to do whatever Saban telling. That's beyond that. And that's totally in a different realm than a 20 or 39-year-old quarterback. Kevin, don't go there.
You know what? You do got some truth to that. But, since we don't know the conversations that the Wizard telling, because it could be all football related. If it ain't life related, then how's that unethical? If it's just going by, the rules of engagement to win football games, then how's that unethical?
Go. Well, ask the parents whether or not they would like their children. That's in the hands of each child and their parents and that person, depending on who it is. There's a lot of people that don't want that bullshit happening to them. Right. So that ain't got right. So that's what I'm saying about that whole situation. Most people give themselves to the result to win all by any means necessary, which shouldn't be. There should be parameters of things set where you don't give up your soul to win. They don't work like that.
No.
You're supposed to be able to do it in a certain way. But if you got a guy that's hell bent on doing stuff a certain weird ass way, then that's a whole nother conversation. But all I'm saying at the end of the day is that don't have nothing to do with what we talk about in terms of a quarterback that is a student athlete that's 28, 29, or 30 years old, that passed his physical and that is healthy enough to start for you at the quarterback position. I don't care if that's a decisive advantage or not, but everybody could have that advantage if they would use that same thing. We're not doing anything that nobody can't do is what I'm saying.
I do get your point. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that we have to talk about it because really, the LSU press had us all fooled, like Mozzy say. I thought this guy was like 18, 19 years old. They come around to be like he's 30. It's like, they're all, look, I looked
up articles that did cover that, Kev.
Hold on. Because I know you're on the defensive right now, but let's just talk, okay? There are going to be conversations about this as it go on and this information come out. Because I don't think this information is to the whole mass public yet. Because we didn't even know it, and we followed him like daily. I had no idea he was. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, Q, but that is something for people to talk about.
Right?
But hold on, yeah, it is a surprise. Now, this is what I think that can happen in situations like that because it took, I think, I'm going off memory. Chris Winkie was like he was a 5th-year senior by the time he made 28 years old.
Right.
So this guy's just a sophomore, and he's already at 30. So if he stays 4 years, he's going to be like what, 32?
Yeah.
So if he wins the championship at 32, you don't think they're going to be conversations?
I don't care if it is.
Come
We
on,
won.
dude.
We won. Who
Come on.
cares?
But I'm saying, okay.
That should not be the focus. Is that
But
we can't enjoy the conversation, the championship, because he was 32 years old.
There's been a lot of stuff that happened in sports where we know that it was unethical and people got stripped of those things. Have we not seen this in the past?
Why would they strip? But Kev, I'm asking you this question. Why would they strip LSU because they had a 32-year-old quarterback when they won a championship? I don't understand that. Make me understand what you're saying.
Because he's 32. He's playing against 18 and 19-year-olds.
That is
Somebody
not
could have something to say about. No, it's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
So how would they strip you?
He's got 5 years. He got 5 years
get it.
eligibility from the time he steps on the campus.
Yeah, he got the 5th year if he exercises.
I think this is all an exercise in futility, if you ask me. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter how old the man is. If it's wins and losses. That's all we care about. We're not cheating. We're not doing anything immoral. The man is a student athlete right now at 29 years old. He is physically able and capable to occupy the quarterback position. He's 29 years old. He can't help the fact that he's 29 years old. I'm pretty sure if you gave him an option, he would probably say, well, listen, I'd rather take 5 years off of this and I would be wherever I would be. So, I mean,
24 probably. Yeah.
Right. I'm pretty sure if you gave him an option, would you like to take 5 years off your life? Yeah, I would. I'd rather be a quarterback at LSU. You damn right. Because that will put him in a different stratosphere in terms of him getting to the NFL. It had more years on his life. But we can't march times back like that. So we just got to deal with it as it is, wins and losses. And of course, I just looked it up. They do have articles showing that, talking about his age and other and things about his age and his relationship to his father and his brother and all that. They got articles that cover it. But
that's local media?
No, it's the regular traditional LSU press.
He's gonna be the first quarterback with an insured deal.
Okay, thank you. See, that's what it's about with Uncle Mozzy. Uncle Mozzy is about just making fun of him, man. That's what it comes down to.
We just talked about, because it was something I think that it just caught us off guard, and we talked about it, and we were talking about different elements to it, man. It's nothing wrong.
Damien said, what's the difference, bro? Brady about 45 playing with 20-year-olds. Think about that. So I mean, I don't think, but it doesn't matter. If he could play, he could play, bro. If he's 20, he's a 29, 30-year-old student. I don't care, man.
Now,
I don't
Brady
care.
was 45 in college, we'd be having a different discussion.
That would be something unique right there. To have a 40-year-old man playing with 20 guys that's 20 years younger than him. So I mean, that would be a conversation right there. But you're talking about a guy that's still in his 20s. You got guys in their 20s, 22, 23. He's a 29-year-old athlete. And I don't see this big decisive advantage. It ain't like this guy was tearing up the high school rankings or whatever else coming out, and he's whatever.
Quarterback is all about maturity and decision making. I mean, before talent, you got to be able to make good decisions, and you got to be mature at making them.
Sure
29 years old, you have a distinct maturity advantage. I'm sorry, you just do at the position that requires you to be the most decisive and mature.
Okay,
it's not like he's playing offensive tackle or fullback or tight end. He's playing the position that requires the most thought on the field next to the head coach.
Okay,
that's true.
Well, I'm just gonna leave it on that, family, and I'm just leave it on that because very interesting topic of discussion toward the back end. Uncle Mozzy dropped that bomb on us about that, but like I said, that's my stance, and that's the guy's stance as well. So that'll do it for the show today, man. Very interesting on the back end of the show. So listen, fam, I'd like to thank y'all for joining us. Tough Tiger Talk, we keep it real here. You guys feel free to comment in the comment section of what you think about our discussions here today. Do you guys feel it's a problem if you had a 28 or 29-year-old, 30-year-old quarterback when he starts playing games with LSU and UCLA starts playing? Do you have a problem with that? Is that a problem? Is that I know you do, Uncle Mozzy. Yeah. I know you, GM Kev. I know you do. But I'm saying at the end of the day, how do you guys feel in the Tough Tiger Talk Nation? Do you guys feel there's a problem having a 30-year-old quarterback at the helm for you? Or perhaps one that you have to face? Is it a problem? Let us know in the comment section how you guys feel about that as well. And like I said, it's sure deal. But anyway,
quick footnote. I got a quick footnote.
Go ahead,
something we did not discuss. Nike will not be doing the jerseys. They'll be sponsored by AARP this year.
Wow.
Yeah, AARP. Well, we got a retired quarterback. So the AARP people are going to be doing that, and Medicaid. It's going to be Medicaid and AARP doing the jerseys this year. Hello.
That's gonna do it for Tough Tiger Talk for today. I'd like to thank all y'all for joining the Tough Tiger Talk Nation today. If you like what you're hearing, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. Please feel free to share the show's link in your social media as well. Helps to grow the platform here at Tough Tiger Talk. So I'm Big Q chiming in. We got Uncle Mozzy and GM Kev as well. And it's been a real interesting show, man. So
really interesting.
I don't know what this
buses to the game. We taking ambulances.
That's Uncle Mozzy. He's got. I know. See, it was all. That's what it was all about. So just making fun of this guy's age. That's what it was all about. The whole thing, the whole way. But anyway, listen, fam, that'll do it for the show. Appreciate y'all, and we'll holler at you on the next Tough Tiger Talk Tuesday. Be here, and we'll see you then. Much love.
Cut that damn TV down.
Thank you. Now he's a senile old man. Now is that what's going on? Oh
It
man,
didn't catch me off guard, man. I'm shocked. I didn't know that.
Well, neither me.
Yeah, I thought Mozzy was joking, but he was right on.
Well, that'll do it for us here.
Let's roll out.
Do it for us here. I know Max in here. He sleep right now. He got to go to therapy in the morning.
Take calcium for them joints,
That's
man.
terrible. That's terrible. We out, fam. Appreciate you.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.